Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special draft here on the channel. Today, I am joined by a guest. He is a Pro Tour Hall of Famer. He is a Pro Tour champion. He has made the top 8 of multiple big events, and he actually came in 71st place at the most recent Pro Tour. It is Limited Specialist, one of the best of all time, Ben Stark. Welcome to the channel.
Hey, what's up? After that intro, man, I'm like blushing over here. What am I supposed to say?
Man, yeah, it's hard to follow, but you're an impressive guest, so I like to provide that level of hype. And yeah, so what have your thoughts been on Phyrexia All Will Be One? Are you enjoying the format? I know you played it at the Pro Tour and did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I went 4-2 in the draft portion of the Pro Tour, and I did it kind of unconventionally. I drafted a blue-green and a blue-black. No red for me. Which brings me to the format. I mean, I don't think it's great. It's definitely not balanced. I'm not like, I'm not one that's gonna like just go against the conventional wisdom when it's true. Like, red is the best color. Red is super deep. Red is awesome. Like, you know, there should be 4 or 5 red drafters in every single pod. But I do feel like there's the ability to have a defensive blue deck in this format to combat red, and I think people are kind of missing that. So that was a strategy that, if it was available to me, which it definitely was, in the Pro Tour, 5 of my 6 opponents were playing red.
Gosh.
And yeah, and I beat all 4 like red aggro decks. Both of my losses, this is genuinely true, both of my losses were to the Eternal Wanderer.
Oh gosh, that card is broken.
Yeah, it might be one of the best limited cards of all time. And one of my opponents was red-white, one was blue-white. And they both had, one of them had one Eternal Wanderer, one of them had 2 copies of the Eternal Wanderer. I went 4 wins, 2 losses in the draft portion, and in between my 2 match losses, my opponents had 3 Eternal Wanderers between the 2 opponents.
Yeah,
and I beat all 4 just like red aggro decks that lacked that best card.
That's crazy. That's like when you play a big tournament and you only lose to the same person throughout the tournament, like just X and then whoever that person is. Just super funny. Do you have any cards that you think you like more than other people, or I guess you'd like the blue strategies a little bit more as the defensive options, but are there cards you're looking for?
Well, yeah, that's why I figured I would talk about that a little bit, because, so, to be clear, I draft red when it's open. Red is the best. Red supports 4 to 5 colors, and in this format, red is just a pretty generic aggro color, and, like, you can pair it with pretty much anything, and, you know, whatchamacallit. I think the Slash is way better than the Volt Charge.
Yeah,
but I think
Hex Gold Slash. Yeah, the one that deal 2.
Yeah, the deal 2 is the most efficient card, most efficient removal. If you're not accounting for colors, it's probably the best common. In reality, Contagious Vorax probably the best common in terms of what the card actually does for what it costs. But obviously, red's a lot better than green. But like Volt Charge is excellent also. I remember at the Pro Tour I was debating with somebody, they want to take like one of the red 2-drops over Volt Charge, and I think that's bananas. Like it's Flash over Volt Charge, but then Volt Charge over, you know, the common creatures. But you know, for red to have 2 great common removal spells, 2 efficient common removal spells, and then so many of its commons are just good up and down the curve, right? You have like you have a good 4-drop in the Chimney Rattler, I think it's called. You have a good 5-drop in the Furnace Strider. You have a good 3-drop in the 3/2. You have you have 2 good 2-drops, right? Like Barb Fist and the 2-mana 1/3 that rummages. Like those are both. You know, I mean, to have good commons at every spot in the curve and 2 good removal spells is ridiculous. So, you know, I'm totally on board with red being the best color, and there should be 4 or 5 red drafters per pod.
I also like that red is focused, because the red cards work well with other red cards, whereas some colors have like half the cards focused on poison and half the cards not, whereas red just does its thing.
Yes, definitely. And I'm very low on the poison deck. Like, I'm willing to draft Toxic Aggro if I think I'm the only one in the pod and I can get, like, all of the, like, white common creatures and so on. But if I think there's even one other Toxic Aggro player, I'm not about it. I've just found it be really hard to give somebody 10 poison. I don't know. Has that been your experience as well? Are you
I usually do it, like, accidentally when I'm already killing them with damage. It'll be, like, simultaneous almost.
Yes, that's exactly the thing, too. It's like, when you hit them for the 10th poison, you're putting them to 3 life. Even if you're not killing them, even if you're poisoning them first, they're at 3, and you could probably just attack again the next turn. Like, it feels, to me, in this format, Toxic feels like it's about corrupting them. Yes. A lot of the corrupted cards are pretty strong, right? Like a 1/1 tapper that taps for 1 mana, that's a really good limited card. So if your opponent just starts corrupted, that card is really awesome. And while it's really hard to put people to 10 toxic, it's pretty easy to put people to 3 toxic, to 3 poison. So to me, that's what Toxic's about in this format. It's about getting them corrupted. So I have a 1/3 flyer that attacks and pumps my team, and I have a 1/1 tapper for 1 mana to tap things. Because those cards are awesome if they're corrupted. But I don't even think about putting them to 10 poison. Like sometimes you might put them to 10 poison when they're at 2 life. Sometimes you just deal 20 damage first. When I draft Toxic Aggro, I'm very focused on getting them to 3 and taking advantage of my poison cards. I don't care about putting them to 10 poison. I don't need all my cards to be poison. I just want a few like cheap early ones so I can get them to 3. That's what I'm thinking about.
And when you draft these blue controlling decks, what are you looking for with those?
So when you draft blue in this format, it's a really traditional control deck. And this is where I think other people have not had success with it, because if you look at this on the surface, right, like blue has 2 common 5-drops. 5 mana 4/3 flying, draw a card, discard a card, and 5 mana 5/5 like a vehicle, you know, with the 1 counter to start, right?
Yeah.
If you were to just across the board in the aggregate, how would you rate those 2 cards? Like, how good are they compared to each other?
I thought the 4/3 flyer was great when I first looked at it. I was like, oh my gosh, this card's incredible.
Right.
I almost had it as like one of the best blue commons when I first looked at it.
And that's normal. Me too, of course, day one. Like, that's what I thought as well. And, like, that's what everybody would think. Like, if you were to put those cards across all limited formats, the 5/5 would be barely to unplayable, and the 4/3 would be a good card, right? But this format revolves around aggro, right? Toxic aggro and red aggro, primarily red aggro, but the next deck is toxic aggro. So in this format, a 4/3 flying is a terrible blocker. Flying doesn't matter on defense unless you're blocking flyers, and 3 is just a really low amount of toughness, right? Mm-hmm. The creature can't attack and block. It doesn't have vigilance. It doesn't win races. It dies to like multiple common removal spells that cost way less, and it's just a terrible blocker, right? Yeah. But a 5/5 for 5 that has vigilance and dodges sorcery speed removal is a really good blocker, right? Like that thing is tough to attack into for ground aggro decks. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you were to show me those 2 cards and rate them across all limited formats, I would be like, this 5/5 is unplayable garbage and this 4/3 is a good common. In this format, the 5/5 is a good common and the 4/3 is like filler. I wouldn't call it unplayable garbage, but I think the 4/3 is filler, and I think the 5/5 is much better than the 4/3, right? Excellent. And that's really counterintuitive. And the reason for this is because when you draft blue, you're not expecting to play against other control decks because there aren't any really. I mean, you might play one other blue control player, but for the most part, you're a pure control deck trying to beat aggro decks, trying to beat toxic aggro and red aggro, right? So a 4/3 flyer that provides card advantage is not good for you. What you need is a 5/5 that blocks well and can also attack. So that's how I draft blue in this format. I prioritize the 0/3s. You know, there's a lot of good proliferate, so that thing is just 0/3 scry forever. I play like 2 of them in all my blue decks. 2 mana 1/3 that turns into a 3/3 unblockable. Good blocker early, good win condition late. The Raptor is a house. Like, it's so hard to attack into that 1/4 Raptor, for the red and the toxic decks. So if you look at blue and you draft the 0/3, the 1/3, the 1/4 flyer, and the 5/5, you have 4 creatures at common that are hard to attack into and very serviceable cards for a control deck. And you have to not put cards in your deck like the 4/3 that don't block well, that are like kind of aggro-y or value-y. You have to be prepared to block and win through inevitability because you have the proliferate advantage, the scrying advantage, etc.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I draft blue. I draft blue like a pure control deck to beat red and toxic aggro.
Awesome.
Designed to beat aggro decks.
Hopefully we can try some of those things out in our draft and we get to have some interesting picks instantly popping into the queue. For the folks watching at home, that's what goes on in the mind of the great Magic players of the world. That's the high level of thinking. I didn't give him any really. All I said was, "What do you think of the format?" We'll talk about it a little bit, and he has all that off of the cuff. Okay, so
I did just play the Pro Tour, like you said, so I've been thinking about the format playing.
So we've opened up our first pack. What are the cards that jump out to you looking at this pack?
Well, the Phyrexian Vindicator is an incredible Magic card. Obviously, you have to be heavy white, but if you start with it, you can prioritize white the whole way. I think the Equipment Double Strike is a really good uncommon, one of the best uncommons. A 2/2 Double Strike for 3 is a good card, and then every threat you move it to, having Double Strike for the rest of the game is incredible. That's a really good card. So those 2 really jump out.
These commons are largely pretty weak, it feels like.
Commons are pretty weak. You got the 2 common playable red 3-drops, but they're not cards I'm looking to first pick. Yeah. I think really it's only between those 2 cards, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you generally like to start with the gold card or the one that's even harder to cast with quad white?
Yeah, they're both powerful cards. I would rather start with the one that I think is easier to play, which is probably the gold card, just because, it's probably easier to play than the four
Yeah,
white card.
quadruple white is a big ask. I don't think I've had like any deck in my entire time drafting this format that could have cast this card.
You definitely have to plan to do it, right? Like if from the go you prioritize heavy white and you maybe pick up a Prism, an Evolving Wilds or whatever it's called in this format, Terramorphic Expanse, and you play like, 11-5-1, then you can cast that card, but you have to make a lot of sacrifices the whole draft to be able to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a red-white card. In this pack, there's like a Planar Disruption, a couple of other white cards, Urabrask's Anointer if we wanted to keep on red, and then there's like Anoint with Affliction. And yeah, what jumps out to you from this pack?
I mean, I really like the Anointer, although red-white is not a particularly good oil deck, but, you can always prioritize some red oil stuff. I like Planar Disruption. It's good, cheap. It's an aggro format. Even if they get rid of it later, you still get to attack when you play it effectively. Yeah. I love Voidwing Hybrid. Like, for my blue-black control strategy, it's amazing, but obviously I'm not really trying to follow up Bladehold War Whip with it.
Yeah.
But, that's a card that I would love to pick up when I'm blue-black. So yeah, I think here those are probably the best cards, and really it's just between Anointer and Planar Disruption. I'd probably go with Anointer, but Disruption would not be unreasonable.
Bias towards red with a little bit of the extra power.
And it's so early in the draft that even if we're red-white equipment, we can just make sure to pick up a few oil creatures.
Yeah. So now there's a Malcator, there's a Swooping Lookout. I don't know. I think this card's performed way better than I thought it would. Just like randomly blocks some stuff and chips in. And there's just this year.
And it's the equipment. You can always move the plus the blade hold, the +1/-1 equipment on it, hit them for 2 in the air, and then you move it back somewhere else.
Yeah,
it's a solid card. Or solid card. It's an uncommon.
What do you like in this pack?
I mean, Malcator is good, but not good enough, I think, to take a gold card here.
Yeah.
I would mostly just be looking at those white cards. I guess, the Mandiblar Justiciar is, I'm not a card I'm like excited to second pick, but it's a decent attacker. Like I said, I'm not that worried about poison. We're looking at more of a red-white equipment, and that thing can wear some equipment well. Otherwise, the Cackler could be okay because we know we're going to take some, oil cards, but I would probably take the Justicar here. How about you?
Yeah, I like the Justiciar as well. I have not been impressed by the 2/3 red guy.
Correctly. Unlike me, I call it a Justicar.
I still think the Temple of Milady prank is like the funniest Magic story ever. Like, just so good.
We'll call it a prank. We'll go with that.
Ben Stark was doing coverage for an event, and his entire testing team referred to it as Temple of Milady instead of Temple of Malady for about a month beforehand, just so that when he was on coverage, he would say it incorrectly. Which is, I guess, a team effort, but maybe not good team spirit building. Okay, so here
I respect it.
I'm highlighting the Planar Disruption here. I don't think there's a ton of other good options here.
This is a clear Planar Disruption. I mean,
what do you think of these spheres?
They're not amazing given it's an aggro format, but they do mitigate flood. I still like to have 1 or 2 in my decks. Like, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it over a good common, but I'll take it 6th, 7th if I can play it.
Yeah, I've generally been happy like playing like exactly 1 in a lot of my decks.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want a ton of them if you're aggro. I mean, if I have a control strategy, I might be happier to play like 3. But if I'm like a red-white aggro deck, I'm happy to play 1.
So in this pack, Bladegraft Aspirant seems to go well with the cards we have. I don't think that's would be my pick out of this pack.
Oh yeah, me too. Of course, there's no decisions. I mean, look, drafting the hard way is great for when you're in a tough seat. But if we're seeing red-white and we started in red-white, you take it. You don't fight it. And getting that 4th pick Planar Disruption. I mean, that seems pretty clear that white is at least somewhat open. We don't really know if red's open or not because red is so deep. Getting like a 5th pick Bladecraft Aspirant, that doesn't tell us anything. It's not like it's a 5th pick Volt Charge, but I mean, it's the best or second best card in the pack, maybe behind like Blue Skull Bomb. Yeah, I'm gonna call those Spell Bombs the whole format because I played Spell Bomb.
I was gonna ask you about that card. Like the Skull Bomb is a very interesting one. Like the bouncing the thing, drawing a card, kind of seems like exactly in that kind of pure control deck you'd be interested in.
And it triggers all your gets an oil counter when you cast a non-creature. That one is fantastic, almost certainly the best of the cycle. Now, obviously, I'm not looking to branch into blue here for it or something. Like I would just take the Aspirant for red-white equipment. But yeah, the blue Spell Bomb is Skull Bomb is an excellent playable for any blue deck. And yeah, here's an Axiom Engraver. Even though it doesn't look aggressive, I mean, it's not aggressive. Aggressive decks want to rummage away extra lands, and like Flood is a big issue for. And it's just a very good, cheap, serviceable 2-drop for any deck. I think
and
that
has synergy with the Anointer.
Right, but I think it's important people at home take away that even though Axiom Engraver doesn't look like an aggro card, play multiple copies of it in your aggro decks. Firstly, if you draw two, you can rummage one away to the other one. And then secondly, like just not flooding is so key to winning with aggro. And it's still a serviceable body, even if it only hits for one. You're not drafting a constructed deck. You're happy to spend your mana on that in turn two, and now you're never going to get flooded, and you can get in some damage with it when you can.
Here, do you just like taking another Bladegraft Aspirant?
Yeah, here it's definitely one of the creatures. They're all pretty close. Probably go with the Aspirant because red-white does equipment, and you got to stick with the keywords. Even though we don't have a lot of equipment yet, there is a lot of equipment in this format that's not that hard to get. Both the 4 mana 4/2, for Mirrored equipment, and the 2 mana 3/1 for Mirrored equipment at common and red are pretty solid. And even if you have equipment synergies, even the 3 mana 2/3 white one is fine. Like not great, but fine.
Yeah.
So I assume we'll get equipment later to use with those Aspirants.
Yeah,
Here's a Furnace
Rider. What do you think of Vivisurgeon's Insight? Do you play this in your like blue control decks?
I don't like it because it doesn't impact the board. Remember, like I'm drafting control to beat aggro, so I want my 5-drop to be that 5/5 that blocks incredibly well, not a 5-mana card that doesn't impact the board and I fall behind to go up cards. A card like the Draw 3, that would be really good if you were playing against other control decks or mid-range decks because it's, powerful card drawing. It generates a lot of advantage. That's not what I'm looking for. I'll beat the aggro decks on card advantage because I've got 5/5s and 1/4 flyers, and because I get to scry every turn and stuff like that. But I want all my cards to impact the board and block when I'm drafting blue control. Definitely Centaurian here, of course. I don't love the Centaurian, but we do want the oil synergies, and it's fine. Yeah, that's the 4/2 I was talking about. I like that card. Even though a 4 mana 4/2 isn't a great card, then you move it over to your Bladecraft Aspirant, and you have like a big menace creature that has to be double blocked and can take down 2 blockers. Or you move it to your flyer, and then you have a really good clock in the air with the +2/+0.
And I'm cast it for cheaper. It'll only cost 3. It'll be a 3 mana 4/2 if we have the Aspirant.
Oh, I think if you're doing equipment synergies, you definitely want to play all of those red common equipment. They're all good. I would take the Cackler.
Cackler? Okay.
I take the Cackler. We're never going to play the Rebuke. So the 5 mana deal 5 red removal hasn't been good for a long time, but sometimes you play it. But in this format, you have a red common creature for 5 that's very good in Furnace Strider. So you're never playing the 5 mana removal spell because you have Furnace Strider in that spot.
We actually have 3 options here.
Yeah, I would take the land. I don't think you're really going to use either of the other two. I mean, maybe you could play Skull Bomb for the Anointer synergy. But I'm with you. I think people are too low on the land. You don't want a ton of it in your aggro deck, but it does mitigate flood. Flood is a death sentence for aggro. I'm happy to have 1 tap land in my deck or 2 tap lands in my deck.
Yeah, definitely.
They're really making this draft easy for us.
Oh, it's nice, but it just gives us time to talk about other cards. So, for example, Phyrexia Arena, it's a fast format. Do you play this card? Do you prioritize
I don't really like it.
Yeah,
no, I don't really
in a lot of formats, this card would be insane, I feel like.
Yeah, it would obviously be good if your opponent's not threatening your life total. But similar to how I don't like the Draw 3, the commons I'm trying to play in that deck are cheap, efficient removal, mesmerizing dose. I'll use experimental augury for card advantage, let's say, to proliferate or to make sure I land drop 3 and get all that. But I'm not trying to spend 3 mana to deal myself 4 damage over the next 4 turns or 6 damage over the next 6 turns. That's just killing yourself for an aggro deck.
And where are you at on Dune Mover? Because there have been some people that really like it and some people that think it's horrific.
I think it's fine. It's obviously not a powerful card, but if you have a couple copies of it, you can or even 1, maybe you can play 15 instead of 16 lands because all you need is any 2 lands. You can cast it to get another land. So I think the thing about Dune Mover is you need to view it as replacing a land, not a spell in your deck.
Okay, that's interesting. So here we actually have a pick. There's Skrelv's Hive, and there's Rebel Salvo, and there's, I guess those are the main 2 that we're not taking.
Yeah, Chimney Rabble is good. We would play it, but that's in a distant third. But it is a tough pick. I like the Hive, and Salvo's so efficient. I don't know. This is a tough one. I mean, I think given we're the equipment deck, I'm inclined to go with the Hive because we're going to be able to turn those 1/1s into bigger things. But we don't really have any removal, and we do have a lot of creatures. I don't know. This feels really tough. What do you think?
It does feel tough. I think Skrelv's Hive is better if you can give these things lifelink, but I also am just imagining a world where we just start giving them +2/+0 in the late game.
Exactly. They're clearly good with equipment.
And our deck is assertive, so the life loss doesn't matter from this as much.
Yeah, our deck's going to be really aggro. We're not that scared of the life loss. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a really close, really hard pick. I wouldn't care really if somebody gave me the Salvo instead, but I think I would take the Hive to generate bodies.
I think we also don't have 2-drops right now. We're lacking in the 2-drops a little bit.
Those are third. We definitely need a few more. Yeah. I don't think you were going wrong with that pick either way. I think it was a super close pick.
Yeah.
And this is a clear pick, though. The 1/1's quite good. That thing looks like a 1/1, but in reality, once you put an equipment on it, it's just like they can't attack into it if you move it up. They can't block it if you attack with it.
Yeah,
like,
it's just brutal.
Creatures. Yeah, it's just an incredible card.
Yeah.
And like if they attack you with a 2/2, you can just block and then it dies and deal the other 1 to it. So I mean that's
If we get the 2-mana equipment that can give +1/-1, you can also turn it into a damage spell, which is also pretty nice.
Yeah, it's just really hard to block, really hard to attack into. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's ending the game, it's dealing 1 damage, but it's just a very effective 1-drop, you know? It's like hard to block, hard to attack into by other small creatures.
The proliferate text is largely irrelevant. I don't think anyone's ever done that. It's just like a way to sacrifice it if you really need to.
Exactly, that's why it has that. It's just a way you can sack it if you want to do it. The Chimney Rabble here is a clear pick. Yeah, Churning Reservoir could be okay in an oil control with like heavy oil, but that's clearly not where we're at. We're just a very aggressive white equipment deck, and Rabble's a perfect fit.
How many 2-drops would you like in an ideal world for this deck?
6, probably.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have the choice between Swooping Lookout and another Chimney Rabble, or this combat trick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not the combat trick. It's fine, but like, you know, we're not going to take it over a good on curve creature. I definitely like the Rabble more than the Swooping Lookout, but given our curve, I could definitely see the Lookout. We already have 2 4-drops we're happy to play and a third that we might or might not. And then we have like only 3 2-drops, 1 1-drop. We've got a +2/+0. Yeah, I think I would take the that one. I think I would take the 1-drop just for curve reasons.
Yeah, I agree. I like this guy. I just have been very impressed. The games where you go 1-drop into 2-drop feel almost unlosable a lot of the time, especially if you're on the play. Like, this isn't the 1-drop that I've loved. I don't really like playing this one, but we have 2 premium 1-drops, it feels like.
Yeah, I think the Scamp is okay, and I mean, we do have the Anointer. If we want to make that playable, we might play the Scamp. In general, in like non-red-white, I'm trying to use Zealot's Conviction. Like I said, I'm very big on getting them to 3, and once you get them to 3, that's a really good trick. It's like +2/+1 first strike and sticks around. Like that's an awesome combat trick if you're corrupted aggro, but we're not, obviously. We're red-white equipment aggro. So I think I would take the Scamp just because look, the way our deck is going, we might end up not playing the Anointer in the Scamp. If we end up wanting to try and make the Anointer work, then we're probably going to need to use Scamp. And we can get the Scamp its 1 oil counter by playing equipment, and then we'll be able to ping things with the Anointer. So I think
we take the Helm here, or do you like the?
Oh, I would actually take against. I would take against all odds. It's really good with the equipment. We'll blink the blade and make another 2/2. You know.
Oh my gosh.
And bring something back. Yeah, it has really good synergy with the equipment.
Also, I feel like all these equipments are really good in our deck. We're gonna probably get another Blade Graft Aspirant on the wheel, maybe, and this thing's gonna be doing great.
Yeah, the Splitter's great for us. This is why I think we're unlikely to even use the Anointer, the Cackler, and the Scamp, because we're not going to really have space for the oil synergy, because our equipment synergy is really good. And that's a good thing, right? Like, Wizards keywords this for you. Red-white in this format is primarily equipment, not oil, and we want to do that, you know?
Do you like the Leonin and Lightbringer or the Bardiche here?
Yeah, they're both all right. We have 2 of the 3-drop that lessens the cost, so I might go with the Bardiche, because it's only really 4 and not 5.
Oh, right? You're right.
That's what the Aspirant does, right? 1 less to equip it and 1 less to cast equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, for us, yeah, we can curve out the 2/3 into the 3/2 equipment. And even though that's not a strong card, like, if you play it for 4, it's worth it. And then you can equip things, give them +2/+1. It's, you know, it's pretty nice.
What are your thoughts on Malcator's Watcher?
It's a solid card. There's a lot of 1 toughness creatures that it's hard for it to attack into. And blue is a control color, so you're happy to have a 1/1 to spend your mana on turn 2, maybe stop their 1 or 2 drop from attacking. And then later, nice call on us wheeling the Aspirant. I wasn't sure we were going to wheel that. Yeah, nicely done, Nicolai. Yeah, and I think the Watcher's good if you're a defensive deck, which I think you should be if you're blue. So I actually like the Watcher. I think at this point, like, we have such good equipment and equipment synergy, you can kick the oil synergy out of our deck. I mean, we'll play Furnace Strider because it's a great card. But I would just, like, if you're trying to see how our deck's gonna look, I would probably take out the Scamp and like the Anointer, like they're just not, and the Cackler, like we're just not gonna play those cards.
Last pick, Meldweb Strider. The disrespect.
Yeah, people just don't know about blue control. Like, I'm not surprised, and that's great. It makes it easy to table all those cards. You can first pick the black removal or whatever, and then you get the Meldweb Strider on the wheel. You know,
so here we have a pick between the Duelist and the Mirror Convert, and then we'll probably wheel this Aspirant.
Yeah, I think I would take the Mirror Convert here, and I don't think it's that close. You know, it adds a mana. That's just more valuable than First Strike. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're both Toxic 1. First Strike makes it easier to attack, but like the ability to ramp out your 4-drop on turn 3 or 5-drop on turn 4 is just worth more, frankly.
Definitely.
And yeah, hopefully we'll table the Aspirin. I mean, we almost certainly will because we tabled that other one, but
yeah, we could
getting
have like
Aspirins on the wheel
5
is great.
aspirins.
That's not a bad thing. I mean,
There's another anointer here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, we don't have oil, right? We have Axiom Engraver, we have
1, 2. Yeah, we don't have enough cards for the oil. We're not going to play this Orthodoxy in 4.
Anointer's an excellent card if you're oil. I mean, it's a 2 for 1.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's a lot of small creatures. It's just we literally don't have oil. Like we don't even have room for it. We want all of these aspirants and all of our equipment. Like that's great. Our deck is like starting to approach pre-construct level with 2 Blade Hold Warwick. Like this is an awesome red-white equipment deck.
This is like when you go to the store and you're like, oh, I'll just get one of the pre-con decks from the new set. And they just put all the cards in.
There's no way there's room for the oil synergies too, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You just run out of room eventually. Pretty clear Chimney Rabble here. I have a question. What do you think of Eye of Malcator? Because I've heard some people say that it's the key to drafting blue, and like you have to be an artifact deck if you want to play blue. And it sounds like you've kind of gone the other way and gone like full control mode. What do you think of the Malcator Eye?
Malcator deck is good too. Like obviously in my strategy, it's not great because it doesn't block well in the blue control deck. But you know, a 4/4 Scry 2 for 3 is a very good aggressive card. And so like, and it like Scry 2 means you find more artifacts to power it more, and there's a lot of artifacts in this format. So I think that there's absolutely a blue-white artifact deck, and maybe you don't even have to draft it only blue-white, maybe like blue-white or blue-red. You know, I mean, the Cephalid Sentry being the gold blue-white card kind of tells you that there's a blue-white artifact deck, right? Like,
yeah.
And so I think that's a very real strategy too. It's a different strategy than the blue control I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the blue control I'm talking about, I literally draft anything but white with it generally. Oh yeah, definitely Against All Odds here. Against All Odds is just incredible in the equipment deck. Like I said, you bring back a dead creature and you blink an equipment that isn't attached to a rebel, and then you get another rebel, you know, attached to the equipment and the card back from the dead. I mean, that's just it's an incredible format card.
I think I've played this card once, so I'm glad that you're here to tell me it's good because I'm just like, okay.
I mean, if you're a traditional white toxic aggro deck, it's not a good card. Like 4 mana, bring back a dead creature is not good. But we're not a traditional, you know, white toxic aggro deck.
Is it better than another Engraver?
So it is a better card. We might have to start considering our curve because it is pack 3, and you know we only have 4 2-drops and we're an aggro deck. So like, I definitely think when you're red-white equipment, you would take Against All Odds over Engraver by a lot. But I think in this spot, I can see the argument just because it's our 5th 2-drop and it's mid pack 3, and we don't want to not get it, and we have a lot of 4s. So yeah, I think I take the Engraver here, but this is a very big curve pack 3 pick. Like
never punished. We get another chance at it.
Yeah, and I think now we can take it. Even though there's the Duelist, like we have 5 2-drops, and like Duelist and Engraver, they're all just serviceable 2s. They're nothing special. And now that you know we're less worried about missing on 2-drops, yeah, I think we can grab one more Against All Odds.
Excellent.
And even though these picks look weird, that's actually what you're trying to do is juggle a good curve, right? When it comes to these like replacement level type cards, where like you know like Axiom Engraver and the Duelist, like you want 5 or 6 2-drops, you don't want 8, and you don't want 3, right? So you're taking them to fill out your curve. I would actually take the 3/4 here, even though I'm not huge on Toxic. It picks up equipment again, like the pickup is really.
It's the same thing, and it gives us another thing to equip to as well. That's crazy. Yeah. This card's sweet.
So. Yeah, here you can get the land, I think. I don't think we want the Skull Bomb. I mean, we're not going to...
Yeah. We can totally win late games with this deck, too. This deck plays great in the late game. We've got 3 Against All Odds, a bunch of equipment. I feel like we can like get started early, and then like I have a hard time imagining certain decks beating us late just because we just play a bunch of cards, get back 2/2s, and have endless things to equip to.
This is a deck I'm definitely going to play 17 lands because we can rummage away extra lands to the Engravers or sack our lands, and we can spend our land moving away equipment and bringing back things with Against All Odds, like you said. This is an aggro deck that like has a good late game for sure.
Yeah,
that's a super accurate assessment, Nicolai.
Okay,
this is a sweet deck.
This deck.
Only thing we're really lacking is removal. I'm kind of wishing we had taken that one rebel salvo over the Hive just because we really didn't see much removal. I mean, listen, I agreed with the pick. I would have took the Hive too if I was alone in the PT or whatever. But we just didn't see the slashes or the volt charges or even any more planar disruptions this whole draft, right?
Yeah, it's another equipment. Or do we take the Bardiche?
Yeah, I think we have to take the 3-mana one for our curve. I think the Bardiche
we do have 6
better.
2-drops. We have 6 3-drops.
Yeah, we have 6. I guess that's not bad. I think the Bardiche is better. Maybe you could take it. Maybe
I think I have the same thing where the curve looks very skewed because we have 4 of this guy.
Yeah.
The other consideration with the other consideration with the Bardiche pick is if we take the 3-drop, it's another thing that we can flicker with against all odds. Where I think those count.
You can flicker any size. You can flicker the Bardiches.
Oh,
you can only
bring back
things. Yeah, you can only bring back things that cost 3 or less, which is great for us because we can bring back the aspirant. But you can flicker anything in play.
Do you think you would play all 3 of the spheres, or would you cut one of them?
Yeah, I'd probably cut one because we probably want to do 17 land. I think 2 tap land's okay, but we're not trying to go up to 18. And I don't think you want to have 3 is starting to get excessive. I think 2 looks good.
Are there any cards in the sideboard that you would want to play? I feel like they're all pretty mediocre.
Oh, they're all super mediocre. I mean, the 4/4 can be okay because we have tons of artifacts, but we also have tons of 4-drops, so there's no shot it's going to make it.
Yeah, so we have 2 cuts to make. I feel like all the cards on this half of the curve are safe, and it's only up to these 4 and 5 drops that we could probably
This is honestly why you're one of the great limited players, because our 4 and 5 drops are really good, but curve is more important. So you're 100% right. Like, even though we're going to end up cutting better cards, we have to play things on turn 2 and 3. So the 2 and 3 drops are uncuttable when we have 6 and 6. That's just like the minimum, really. I mean, 6 isn't the minimum, but 6 is the minimum for 3 drops, really. And for 2 drops, 5, maybe 6. So we basically have to cut expensive cards even if they're better. I totally agree.
I think I would lean towards cutting 1 Bardiche and maybe this Indoctrination Attendant, but I haven't played the Attendant as much, so maybe it's better than I'm giving it credit for. 2 bodies does sound pretty good, and resetting this, so it's really 3 bodies. So maybe I'd cut just both Bardiches with that knowledge.
I mean, with 4 aspirants, I don't really want to cut the Bardiches, but I feel
true. We could cut a Furnace Rider, I guess, but...
Yeah, we could cut the Furnace Rider. It is 5 hard mana. The Bardiches really cost 4 as long as we drew 1 aspirant. And if we drew 2 aspirants, we might play them for 3 or something. I think, even though Furnace Rider is such a better card overall, I think the Furnace Rider might be the cut. We have 0 oil synergies, and we're not giving haste to other big things. And I think we'd rather just have our equipment synergy.
Especially because two of our 4-drops already have haste, which is also worth noting.
Yeah, we're giving haste to a 3-drop, a 2/3 menace or something, which is fine, but we're not adding extra oil counters. We don't have proliferate. We're not giving haste to good follow-ups after it. I mean, Furnace Rider's still good. I would have been happy to put it in this deck, but I think it's probably the cut.
Yeah, and we have a lot of ways to make a super juiced Bladegraft aspirant, so giving it an extra +2/+1 when it has double strike is just really hard to deal with for people. Also, worth noting that when Blade Hold's in play, it'll make our other equipments cost less. And this thing costing 4 to equip, if it only costs 2 to equip to a Bladegraft aspirant, that's really good.
Yeah, I don't think we want to cut any equipment. I agree with you. I think the next cut is probably Indoctrination Attendant. I think the first one was Furnace Rider. I think the Attendant would be good in our deck. Yeah. But we're all right on the body situation. We have 2 Chimney Rabble. We have the 3 blink the equipment after the body dies, or we just move it off it to make another body, and then bring back a dead creature. So like I said, Against All Odds is a really incredible card in this deck because you're going to bring back a dead 1, 2, or 3 drop, and you're going to blink your equipment and get another Rebel. So
it's kind of it's like the Assistant, but it does the stuff all at once instead of making you replay it, because it'll bring it directly back into play instead of bouncing it to your hand and making you replay it.
Exactly, and so since we don't care about corrupting them because we don't have any corrupted cards or anything, Against All Odds is going to just be better for us than the Assistant. Even though I do like the Assistant. So when you look, I think bodies is a very big issue for the equipment deck, but not for us because we unfortunately are short on removal, but fortunately have 3 Against All Odds and a ton of equipment. So I don't think, and 2 Chimney Rabbles. So I think we're always going to have 1/1s and bodies in play.
Yeah, we have 12 creatures technically, but then we have these 6 equipments that all count as creatures as well. So we really have 18 creatures.
The Hive just makes creatures as well, right?
And the Hive just makes creatures every turn.
Our whole deck are creatures. I mean, our deck would definitely... That's fine, because obviously with equipment you got to have creatures in play, but it would be better if we had 2 less creatures and 2 more removal spells.
Yeah,
I mean, it is unfortunate that we missed out on a couple removal.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we really even had the option to pick them, really. I think the only real one was the Salvo versus the Hive, and Hive is really good. It just takes over the game sometimes.
No, we didn't. I was looking for it by mid-pack 2. I was thinking about it. And we just didn't see another Planner Disruption, and we didn't see a Slash or Charge, I don't think, the whole draft. Did we see a single copy of Volt Charge or Toxic Slash?
No, we didn't see any of them. No.
And then
we saw a couple of the We saw a couple of the 5-mana deal 5, but we didn't really need to take those ones.
Yeah, and like and white was clearly wide open. And this look, I mean, we got a lot of white cards, and like we just never saw Planar Disruption. Even I don't think after we got that one, we got like 4th pick or something, pack 1.
Yeah,
and then I don't believe we saw Planar Disruption the rest of the draft. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think the only ones we saw were the one that we took, and then I think there was one that we like took a Bladehold War Whip over, maybe, but I'm not even sure on that.
And obviously, Bladehold War Whip's
War Whip's
very
like,
good,
yeah.
better than Planar Disruption.
Yeah.
But if that's true, then maybe there was one other white player and they were gobbling them up because we really didn't see a lot of removal. But this is a good deck even without removal. You know, like equipment is a proactive deck. You need to have bodies. You need to have equipment. Like I said, the deck would be better if you traded like, you know, 2 good cards even, like an against all odds and a Hive for a Volt Charge and a Planar Disruption, just because it's good to have removal. But I mean, this is fine without it. You should still play a good proactive game. I think this is a really nice deck.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for guesting, Ben. If people want to find you and your stuff, where can they look for that?
I'm Benas_MTG on YouTube and on Twitch. I haven't been streaming, but I have been making draft videos again. I should have one up this week for this format and about one a week after that. And other than that, also on Twitter, Benas_MTG if you want to follow me and just keep up with my doings. I'll be in Pro Tour Minneapolis for sure since I qualified. I may or may not go to the RC in San Diego. I'm queued. I won an RCQ last season, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go or not. Now that I'm queued for Mini, the RC doesn't offer that much. I still might go because honestly, I just love playing Magic tournaments. But but I'm not sure that it's really a good choice to go.
Heart of a champion.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So anyways, thanks for having me.
Great having you on as a guest again. I highly recommend rooting for Ben, cheering him on, because whenever he's playing, he does a great job. And even just finding like old matches on YouTube that Ben has played in is always a lot of fun too, because he definitely has a lot that you can learn as we saw in this one.
Before I go, I did want to say, Nicolai, thank you for everything you do. You know, like your channel's incredible, just constantly pumping out great limited content has been awesome for Magic and for the limited community. And, you know, I'm always happy to come on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Well, folks, Ben is going to hop off the call, and I'll be playing this deck myself. I will make us proud, and I'll see you folks in the matches. And yeah. If you are enjoying this video and would like to see more videos like this in the future, consider supporting the channel for a couple bucks at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. It is thanks to patrons, in some part, that I'm able to bring on special guests like this due to the reaching of the funding goals. And so if you are enjoying the channel, Patreon is the best way to support it. Special shout out to those who support the channel at the credits level. And without further ado, let's get to the games. Welcome to round number 1. We shall make Ben Stark proud. We will keep this hand. We have both our colors. 2-drop, 3-drop. What could go wrong? Oh, and we have our equipment guys at the ready, so our equipments will cost 2 less. Oh, the mirror man. You don't say. Oh my gosh. Skrell's Hive is such a good tool we're going to draw. Because we'll just start stacking up those things. Our opponent might be playing a fast deck, but we can recover from that. Getting these guys out will really help. And the Justiciar is really good too, because these are artifacts. I'm just going to play a 2-3. If I draw an untapped land, I can play both of these. I do want to get this Justiciar into play, but I think it's more important to be mana efficient here. I could have played a tap land plus this guy. My current plan is just keep playing these. Give the Veil, but that's not a huge problem. No blocks. They have no cards in hand, so this thing's going to quickly lose value. See, that's a good draw. 4-2 is going to be able to trade with whatever they're up to. And the next turn I can play the Justiciar, and then I can equip this, and I can gain a bunch of life. I'm definitely going to start making trades, because these things will then be all that's left. Going to get this thing down next turn, either with an Aspirant or with the Convert, if I don't draw another land. Okay, they can make it so something can't be blocked. Sure. I do have the basics, let's go. We will take the trade on the Centurion. And then I'll take 4. And then I'll put in 2 more blockers, one of which has lifelink. Nice. So I'm going to play this plus Aspirant, because that means I can pump this up on my turn when I play the Convert. And I can even maybe equip this to it to just gain even more life. No attacks. We are in a bit of a dicey situation. Okay, that's good. We're going to get to gain a big chunk of life here. This costs 3 to equip. So we can play the Convert. Okay. This is a good block. We'll take 3, go to 4, take 1, go down even more. We'll have dealt with their Menace guy. Oh, perfect. We were going to equip the Splitter to this guy anyway. This thing will gain us a life. Perfect. So we play this guy. Definitely playing our lands because we can sack things eventually. And I think we're going to attack with all of these guys as well, because if they block, they're going to block one of them. Maybe we don't attack with them quite yet. Because we want to get these things enabled. The problem is they'll just eat one of them, and we won't enable Corrupted. So we'll just attack them for this. They'll probably trade here. And 6 life is a huge chunk here. So they're just drawing off the top. We have Skrelv's Hive plus this Volshock Splitter. So once we do start gaining life, we'll be in very good shape. Like once we get our Corrupted Things lifelink, which we can probably do next turn, because we have so many Corrupted Attackers. It's kind of like the whole board is just our cards trading off 1 for 1, and then we're going to be left with all these. Okay. Nahiri, pretty good.
Absolute order to the multiverse. Destroy.
So we'll take 3 here. Mm-hmm. So we're going to block like this, because now we can kill Nahiri. Almost. Yeah, we can definitely kill Nahiri. So we have to use 3 mana to play this guy, and then we'll have 3 mana left to equip. So we'll start by equipping this here. We're going to eat one anyway, so I might as well get to hit the end. They have 1 poison. Play this. And equip. Okay. So now I just need to survive this top deck pretty much. Because these guys are going to gain lifelink soon, and then I'll start gaining a bunch of life. Okay. Are we trading? Sure. That was a great draw. This just gives me more blockers. I have 2 blockers here. I'm okay with that. Oh my gosh. Ben Stark was right. This card's insane. So I can break my Underworld Justice here. And exile this. That's pretty nutty. Oh my gosh. Crazy. Got the win. Let's go. Wow, Skrell's Hive did so much work. Also, just equipment deck flowed smoothly. See you folks next round. Welcome to another round. We'll easily keep this on the draw. We've got this land. Play tapped on turn 1. We've got the Hive. Ooh, this will give us a nice way to slow them down. On turn 4, we'll play this plus this. Sure. Because we'll play the War Whip on turn 3. Sure. Red, green, you say. But yeah, playing these two guys will really help us. This thing can trade with that or with this. Definitely blocking. If they play like Lattice Blade Mantis, we will definitely be like disruption. This can help us get rid of our extra planes. No attacks yet. The Hive is just going to keep giving us stuff, though. Scrap Forger, sure. We're in really good shape here, I think. Forge Hammer, sure. Easy block. Nice draw. Play our second mountain. Play this guy. This costs for other equipment. So it costs 5, but it'll cost 4 to equip here. So we can't quite do it yet. But we will loot this away. Maybe we should have just done that then, in case we drew a 2-drop. That was probably better. But I like having this guy as a blocker, is the thing. Okay, sure. They get to proliferate twice. Nice, another engraver. I don't really want to pay the 2 life right now for this. I don't expect them to have much proliferate in their red-white and red-green deck, but they could have some, so this will draw them some cards, but I can't stop that. Play out my guys for now. Keep growing these little army of mites. The Hexgold Halberd is a real problem. I'll be able to give this guy double strike. Means some serious life. Sure. That's a combo. Okay, I see you, I see you. Nice. I assume they have a combat trick of some kind here. Oh, wasn't going to block with that anyway. I want to attack with it. I'll block like this. I assume they have a combat trick, but I'll get a favorable block out of this. Oh. Really? Interesting. So he's going to deliver to draw a card. Sure. There's blue. Tackle. Wow, they're just tapping everything. I'm shocked. Discard this land. I'm just going to wait to draw an artifact and then hit them for a bunch. If I draw another equipment, I can make this even bigger. I didn't want to just trade it for this guy. I'm just hoping they don't have like a Furnace Strider. That would be really bad. This is not good that they're, like, figuring out what they're going to tap. Oh, that's really bad. Eh. The Azuri is really crushing me here. Yeah, this game. This is just an unfortunate case. This card really hosed my strategy. Also, they just kept top decking gas. They just drew some good cards down the stretch. The Azuri was pretty good for them, just drawing a bunch of cards. Yeah. They got me. They got me. They got me. I didn't have a good target for planar disruption either. They never played like a giant, like, beefy creature. They were all just the same size. Yep. I would have been able to start sending my little guys too if they didn't have this first strike thing too, I think. Maybe. Or like equip me or convert. I don't know. See what's next round. Welcome to round 3. Let's hope it's closer to round 1. We're going to keep this hand. Interesting what we're going to play. Ooh, nice. That's a great draw. I was thinking between this guy and this guy. We played this on turn 3, this on turn 4. They're playing red-green. Have we played red-green every round? I'm just going to play the... this guy can trade with this guy. Yeah. Not down making the trade. I'm going to try to get rid of any of the like oil cards that they have early in case they have any oil synergy pieces. Maybe we'll play Blade, Graft Aspirin so we can play this on the next turn. And play this and like do some crazy stuff the turn after. Wow. Prophetic Prism. Are they splashing? Interesting. That's a pretty sweet curve out. Playing this as a 4-mana card. Because at 4 mana, it's really quite good. And this card plus this card is nutty. Eventually, we'll put both on him. Resistance is futile. Well, that's convenient. This costs 1 to equip. And then we can give him double strike. Strider. They might not realize that we just have some pretty solid double blocks here. Like, we can double block this guy with these two, double block this guy with these two. And we definitely will, I think. It's cost 3 to equip to this guy because they work on each other. And this will give vigilance. That's nice. So if they double block with these two big guys, I kill one of them. I kill that one. Next turn I can bring back this guy and flicker the equipment. I think I'd rather just currently play the Axiom Engraver. This guy's a really good blocker right now. I play the land. I kind of want to discard the land. I can sacrifice this land if I keep this in place. I'm going to just play this land for now. So that I have more options next turn. I'll draw more lands going forward, and I can sacrifice this thing to get extra cards in hand. Sure, fire Strider. Them having a bunch of beefy guys is kind of annoying. I have 2 different double strikers, so I can like double block one of the guys and just take no damage from it. Why would they do that? They have the Axiom Engraver. We'll see if we draw another equipment. Well, that's a disgusting draw as well. Kind of have to be afraid of combat tricks too. I have 2 cards in hand. I just made an attack that I didn't make last turn. This is where people should get suspicious, where it's like, oh, why didn't they attack last turn? It's because I want to be able to bring back my guy and make myself extra resilient. Okay. To this, because double strike and vigilance is a good combo, even without menace. Okay. I wish I had one of those cards. That card would be good in my deck with all the double strike I've got running around. If I find a +2/+0 equipment, this game is just over. I would probably remove a counter from Furnace Strider to give this thing haste so I could make a 1/1. I'm not going to mouse over the cards to say that, though, because it'll remind my opponent that that's an option. Well, that's a card. This empty board state, that's going to be pretty good. I think just making a free 1/1 every turn. Once again, no attacks until I can make sure I have like some good blockers back. This game is going to last a while. There's a card. I don't think they have any good responses to this. It's 12, so I can just attack through everything. And I just have an army of tutus over here ready to like take up the mantle. Bladecraft might die, but he will leave behind an army that remembers. Okay, they discarded. They should have done that on their turn, I think. Sure. Beefiest Bladecraft. We can do that with this guy. We even have this to get back Bladecraft again. That's not how first strike works, but I guess they're just trying to save damage. Because if they did it on their turn, they could have even made the 1/1. I guess they could have done that on their turn. Okay. That's actually annoying, because if they get that, since they have that going, they'll be able to get like even more blockers. It's actually like really annoying, because they can just spend 4 mana and like make 2 1/1s to chump this guy. Just draw onto my deck a little bit. That's a guy. That is certainly a card. Mm-hmm. I do kind of rope them in to some degree where they have to spend 4 mana every turn just chump blocking this guy. But we're both drawing cards still, so like the fact that they have that is pretty annoying. I'm making a 1/1 every turn. Eventually I'll be able to alpha strike them with those. Or something. They're never drawing another land again if they don't want to because of the engraver. I might be losing this game, as crazy as that sounds. I'm just 1 equipment away though, because if I get another equipment to go with this, or maybe I can just start putting like one of my other equipments onto this guy and just sending in. There we go. Okay. Just need to start working through their big guys. Wow. Kind of hoping they kill the Cacophony Scam, but if they don't, I deal 6 to them, so that's also a win. Perfect. I'm going to take out their 5/5, I think. Actually, Yeah, I'm not going to be able to kill this thing anyway for now, so I'm going to kill their 5/5. Hmm. Gosh darn it. I kind of want to just equip the blade, the double strike into something else, so this thing has to die. Because then I can kill their Axiom Engraver. Oh, this is so weird. I'm totally losing. What a bizarre game. I can't imagine losing from this position. Like, if you told me I had all these equipment in play, I would not have believed it. I want to play this guy because he doesn't get the ETB value. But at the same time, this is looking grim. I can move this over and kill their engraver, so I'm going to do that. So I guess I should have killed their Furnace Strider to stop their engine. At the time, I didn't think I would need to. Should have put this one, I think. Burbrask Anointer may be incoming. Gosh, if I killed the Furnace Strider, they wouldn't be able to continue making these tokens. Oh, okay. I am amassing an army here. And their army's not going to keep getting bigger because they're going to have to do all these double blocks on this guy. Yep. Gosh darn it, if I'd killed this Furnace Strider instead of this 5/5 guy, I would actually be in okay shape here. I was not envisioning this scenario. Because I didn't think I'd be able to kill the Axiom guy, because I forgot that I did have this thing as kind of a removal spell. Okay. Well, that's a good draw. I've got them in a pretty good clock here if they don't kill this flyer. Cackler. Oh no. Oh no, Cackler can get big. And they can do it now because they can give haste. But they're under a lot of pressure. They're going to be taking 10, so dead in 2 turns. So just have to survive until then. And this thing's going to be a fearsome blocker. I mean, it still is. It can block this guy. I forgot I had this guy. Flying is good. Turns out. I'll just play this guy so I have an extra blocker. I don't get to make the 1/1 because of this thing. I do have a 5/3 first striker. That's good on blocking. What? Why would they put on a turning reservoir? Oh, they have to put on a non-token or something? Block that guy, block that guy. I don't really care about the 3. 2, 4, 6, 7 on that guy, maybe. Block there. Take 6. But then I lose to if they have +2/+0 for their entire team. Definitely blocking here like that. I guess I don't really care about the Elish Norn. I'd rather just block 3 little guys. Block this guy over here too, though. Might as well. I think it's technically more optimal if they're going to be trading anyway. I might as well block like this. This way I don't lose to a +2/+2 for everyone, I don't think. This is... Well, they don't have that in white, really. So I take... Yeah, I'm just dead if they have +2/+1 to their whole team. I think. Hopefully they don't have it. And this way I don't die to them lightning bolting me. Wow, Wow, I had 8 of these guys. Oh my gosh, we won. Oh my gosh, the swooping lookout came in so clutch. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy one. The board states were crazy. I think the big misplay, I considered it at the time, but I just had such low confidence that I'd be able to kill their Axiom guy that I figured I might as well get rid of the Reach guy. Which turned out to be important, because them not having Reach was key. But yeah, crazy. What a win. See you folks next round. Welcome to another round. This is a very slow hand. I'm going to keep it, though. It's sketchy. It's very sketchy. I have plenty of stuff that I can draw, though. I have 6 3-drops. Oh, what a draw. I have 6 3-drops, 6 2-drops, and 2 1-drops that I could draw that would all be good. So, like, I'm not that worried about finding something good to do. That's a good trade for me. Indestructible was going to be a problem. I have most of my expensive cards. Okay. Nice. Go, Chimney Rabble, go! Fly, be free! Once I get this Bardiche down, against all odds becomes amazing again. Counterspell? Yep. That's a fine trade. Ooh. Okay. Dose, sure. Hoping to rip a land here so I can play this Bardiche. But I might also just play... I'm going to play against all odds here. Because I have no way of freeing that guy otherwise, and this is a good use of my cards. Just embarrassing mesmerizing dose. Ought to be said. Ben Stark was totally right. This card has been incredible every time I played it. Let's go. Cameo's Logbook. That's not going to do much for you, buddy. Play this before combat so I can buff up my Justiciar. Oftentimes you would want to wait so that they don't know what exactly you have. Lots of damage can be relevant. This guy dies, I'll put them to 1. They have a board wipe. Ah, drawing a card. I see, I see. Good game. Whew. Let's go. That was a beatdown. Our hand really came together. Whew. Mesmerizing Dose looked really bad there. See you folks next round. Welcome to another round. On the play, we'll keep this. We just need to draw 1 land. We do have a couple tap lands that make it worse, but if we draw 1 land, then our hand really comes together. There we go. I guess if they kill the Blade Graft Aspirant, it doesn't work very well. They're just starting to jam these guys. Looks pretty good. Moment of truth. No, they kill it. Dang it. They're highlighting it. Seeing if it's worth killing. It definitely is, opponent. Okay, I'm not going to block. They got me. That's pretty good. I'm not super worried about the poison from black-red. Like, it'll be good, but... Okay, maybe I should have been more worried. Okay, yeah. And now I'll block this turn. I could have played Mirror Convert and Cacophony Scan. But I think I'm just going to keep playing my cards this way. They might have -1/-1. I really need the cost reduction, so I think I will trade this guy for the Blight Belly Rat. I could also just start hitting them with this. I think I just need to buy time to deploy the cards in my hand. I'm officially corrupted. Not only hitting me for 1 a turn, so I have plenty of time, in theory. I suspect they have -1/-1. Oh, another affliction. Huh. Well played by them. I did not suspect that at all. I'm going to play the Mirror Convert, and then I'll chump block the Fleshless Gladiator to kill their Siphoner. Even though equipping this would be better. I'm stuck on land. Die, Siphoner. Really? Okay, that's not great. Beat down train. They're hitting me for 3, and I'm hitting them for like 6. But this does deal damage to myself. I'm more worried about the poison, which means my normal life total doesn't matter as much. All will be 1. Okay. Well, that's really bad. Having to use it on this guy is really frustrating. Them just flinging pings around is going to be really tough, though, and I don't have anything else to spend my mana on other than this guy, which just dies instantly. Gosh, that's painful. Oh, that's a painful, painful moment. I think this hand was fine. It's just not working out because we didn't draw lands. Like, they have 6 mana in play and we have 3. Totally happens. Pain. 7? Okay. Still in this. Show me land. Let's go. They have a blocker for this guy. They have no cards in hand. They have a double block on this guy. Albeit not my favorite one. If they don't attack me, I can play this and then get a maybe attack him with this guy. Or equip him. Oh yes, they missed their land. Huge. I can get this thing +2 power. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. I think my Justicia is going to die before I can do damage with it because they're going to get a counter from something. Like, all they need is a non-creature spell to make the Scamp work. So maybe I should have just suicided to get some life. Oh, this is really unfortunate. Okay, so they're going to play a non-creature spell mid-combat, which will ping this guy. So I can't rely on him to actually do damage. So I really want to kill this big guy. So if I block in with these two, it should work out. And if I block here and here. Let's see how that works. I mean, I assume they're going to kill this guy. So I can either go for this guy, but then they'll just bring it back without to spend mana, or I can just kill this. Or I can go face. I'm just going to kill this in case they have a sacrifice out or something. Okay, they had 3 creatures. That's why they did that. And they'll put the indestructible counter on him. No! Okay, I could not have played around that, let's be honest. There's no universe where I ever play around that card. Like, they wanted to fill their graveyard. I guess if I pinged their face, I'd be closer to winning this game. I don't really think getting rid of this is what I need to do. I'm just gonna go after him. I'm so confused. Four, 5, 6. I can double equip this thing next turn. If they had 3 more creatures in the graveyard, they could do that again, which is kind of funny. I'm attacking with everything because I don't think it gets better for me. And here they'll like trade there, eat there, and they go to 1. Which means they can't bring back the Fleshless Gladiator. Okay. So if they have nothing, we win. Yes! Oh my gosh, they just blanked. That's huge. That's absolutely massive. I can't believe we won. That's when you gotta know when to go for it. Oh, of course I had fun because clearly I won. That's just gonna be a meme on the channel that I just vote based on whether I win the game. Let's go. Dripnod defeated. See you folks next round. Welcome to another keepable hand. Axiom Engraver, we can loot away, try to find our planes. And I saw the thing that said you go first. Like, all I could think of was Indiana Jones, and he says, "Asps, very dangerous. You go first." I'm gonna ditch the Miran Berdish. Beautiful. This card gets a lot worse against Armored Scrap Gorger. They're taking 7? Oh my gosh. they were going to attack, they should have attacked me first, so they could proliferate. If they so chose. This thing's going to be a 3-3 eventually, but for now, I can just keep attacking. Yes, I do think it's still worth it attacking. Trading these 3-1s off is fine, but I deal another 7 damage here. And, like, I can just start equipping the whip to this guy, and then they just are in so much trouble. Like, they have to block it. They just can't win me. Yeah. Woo! This deck is sick! Against All Odds looked really bad against the Scrap Gorger, but, you know, you can't control that card. Oh my gosh, see you folks next round. Welcome to another round. We win the die roll again, and we keep it. We'll see what we draw to determine which 3-drop to play. Ah, the lookout! The lookout! Okay, so if we draw a 2-drop, then we can play this and then play both this and another 2-drop, or a red 2-drop on turn 3. As it is, this is going to hit for more damage, so we're going to play this. Because this hits for 4. Versus 2. They have one of their own. I see, okay. Game on, game on. This is actually pretty okay for us because we play the Aspirant, which can trade with their Rebel. And if that happens, then we play against All Odds, bring back the Aspirant, flicker our War Whip, and we're in such good shape. So it's kind of like dream come true. And if they kill this in some other way, we can do that as well. The realist problem is if they use like Planar Disruption on this. That's the only card that really wrecks me. Burn spell on this is fine, because then I get to use against All Odds. As long as it goes to the graveyard. I'm really hoping they just attack both, and I get to make the trade. I'm really hoping they don't play Steal My Creature. That would be bad for me. No! Oh, attack with the other guy. I know you want to. Okay. No! Oh my gosh, I actually get to do this. Perfect. I just wanted to give this guy pseudo vigilance for the turn. They have 4 cards, I have 3 cards. 2 of mine are lands, so I'm functionally not in good shape against that. My board state's pretty reasonable. This card was not the best for me, must say. But I did use against All Odds to get back a War Whip, so it's like essentially getting another one. So it's not like the max value, but it's still pretty reasonable. And I got some damage in. Okay, perfect. So now we get to go for the play that we wanted to go for. What does that mean? I didn't even do anything. Next turn we can play this and equip it, I think. So that'll be good. Because it'll cost 3 to equip, so we'll have 7 mana. So we can make this guy a monster. I'm friends with a monster inside of my head. Okay. What happens to the equipment? Does it just not equip anything? Okay, I still have my 4-3, so I can double equip on this guy next turn. And I had to use Volt Charge on my 2-2, so that's nice. Okay, sure. I essentially traded a 2-2 for the Justiciar because I was going to do that anyway. So I'm hitting them for 8. Next turn I'll be able to sack the Autonomous Furnace. I am in really rough shape though. They can't quite attack all out because I will kill them with a crackback at the moment. But them giving their Basilica Shepherd double strike is really bad for me, and I probably lose. That's not good. They have to attack more aggressively, yeah. Oh, that's rough. This is just a tough game for us because we drew so many lands here, I think. Just need a little bit more action. I wish I had a way to get trample. That'd be nice. Let's see how they block. This is where not having interaction is really tough. Am I dead on board if I play this card? Yes, I am. So I'm just going to hold it in the off chance that they think I have something to play around it. Looks like they're not doing that, though. They got me. Gosh darn it, that's so brutal. Oh, we were close. We were close. See you folks next round. Welcome to round 8. I think we have to mulligan this. It's just too slow. Like, if we draw 2 lands or something, we just lose. Which normally I would never mulligan this hand, but I think I have to. This hand's much better. I'll get rid of the Miran Bardiche, sadly. Miran Bardiche is really good, though. I'll get rid of the Aspirant. Perfect, we drew a new one. Come on, Mountain. Not a mountain, but still good. I'll make the trade now. I'm just trying to buy time. Good. That is the worst time I could have possibly drawn that. If I had drawn that at another time, I could have actually played my spell on time. Dang it. Yeah, I think we're dead. I don't think Mir and Bardiche is going to cut it somehow. Yep. That's how it goes, though. We had to mulligan a close one, and then we just lose in transition. Combat trick. Yep. Oh well. Well, 5 and 3 with the deck, not that bad. And 2 of our losses were pretty much due to mana issues. And the third one would have probably been a win if we had drawn fewer lands. So I think overall, pretty good showing from the deck. 5 and 3, nothing to scoff at. Pretty good win rate. Thanks again to Ben Stark for guesting on this one. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, in the comment section down below, leave hashtag StarkWisdom to let me know you made it all the way to the end, because I mean, he gave a lot of great insights on against all odds and how to prioritize cards and all of that stuff, and also just on the format as a whole. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see more of Ben Stark stuff, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel and his Twitter in the description. And if you want to see more of my videos, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the like button to let me know you enjoy this sort of thing. Comment below if you enjoyed having a special guest, and which guests you'd like to see me bring on in the future. That's going to do it for this one, though. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you next time.